Thanks, Alex, and we're looking forward to this one because the championship battle is quite close at the top of the field, but anything can still happen between these guys who are fighting for the championship from first and fourth even, because Adam Kondralochis is in that mix as well. So, Afi, what are your thoughts?
Well, Chris Chu has to win. He has to extend his championship lead, though, Emo.
Right then. So, red lights on the gantry, and where they go out, we are gonna go underway now, and that's a good start there from Chris Chu. Looks like he has actually gotten the whole shot coming to turn one, so he's got the launch that he needed, and John McGregor then tucks in behind him while his son Jack McGregor is right behind as well as the field coming out into turn one, and looks as though I think no collision on the indicators there. I think it's quite clean.
Yeah, it's quite clean. Look at that, the battle for P3 is starting already. Jack McGregor and Ronaldo Julie, though, fighting for P3. Ronaldo Julie, being the best man in that fight, has moved up himself to P3.
Oh, Dan, that was a good start as well for Julie, as you mentioned, because he was being blocked slightly by Jack McGregor, but now he goes around the outside. Can he make it? Oh, he's going to make it into the inside. Jack hits Chris Chu, and inexorably has taken the lead of the race. Somehow, he got nice into the lead of the race there, Afiq.
Yeah, he squeezes himself into Chris Chu and John McGregor there. So, P2 and P1 done and dusted in turn 5.
So far, at least, it's only just a quarter lap through. In fact, we're almost going to be halfway through now because we're coming out to sector 2. Through the drop up to turn 9. This is Craig Jones' corner. We can talk about that name a bit later on, but right now we're focusing on the front 4 who have made a beeline for it. They are away from Aydrae Amit, who's actually up to 5th place, would you believe it? We'll focus on him at this, but for now, we're coming up to the end of lap 1. Ronaldo Julie, who has actually won, I think, a couple of races, maybe just one race before. He might want to do it again this time, but what a way to do so and propel himself into that top 5 in the championship there, Afiq.
Yeah, and what a way to annoy Chris Chu there, who's leading the championship and is now down to P2. So Chris Chu has to find a way. Again, Keith Moore is not racing today, so Chris Chu has to capitalize on the opportunity there and has to win this race today if he wants to extend the championship.
Of course, mind you, we still have drop points on offer, and the fact that Keith has actually competed in the previous 2 rounds, so he can take this drop round. The pressure is on for Chris Chu. If he actually makes a mistake this one and loses points, he will be on the same footing as Keith coming to the final round of the season, as Aydrae there blocks onto the inside in front of Weir, and he also has Adam Kondralochis for company, as Kondralochis goes to the inside, takes away 6th place from Weir. And Aydrae then, good defending. He defended a bit late there, but I think that's just about fair, Afiq.
Yeah, that is about fair. Aydrae Amit, though, where did he come from? I'm not sure where he started, but he started quite back, didn't he, Emo?
Yeah, I think by the qualifying positions, he was just, he's actually P7, so it's not surprising that he got up there. Meanwhile, get back up to the front. Ronaldo Julie then defending as well, as Mike Valepsi from the Netherlands gets a slow penalty for cutting the track. So he is at the cusp of the points, about P12, so he's fighting it below there. Now then, any dangerous points on the circuit, you might say, Afi, because the sausage curbs on this track is absolutely massive. You can actually flip cars here if you hit it quite right.
If you hit it quite right and with the right speed, you can flip your car and that will be a race over. However, these CR1 cars are heavy, so even if you hit it, the car will lift up, but it'll still go back down. It won't flip it. As meanwhile, Chris Chu down to P3 and Jack McGregor is pressuring Chris Chu. What happened to Chris Chu?
Yeah, I think the collision might have spooked him a bit because you remember just now that turn 3 complex, in fact, turn 5 complex, Ronaldo Julie was just up on the inside and he just tapped him a bit slightly, so he might have lost a bit of momentum. And these cars, of course, have no DRS, so you can't have that luxury of being a second behind. You can press a button to actually reduce that drag to get up to the back of another guy. He might have been spooked slightly to not be able to be up to the back of Jack for now, John McGregor for now at least. But the top 4 have actually broken away from the rest of the field, so at least they can bide the time trying to battle at the front, Afiq.
Yep. And the gap between Jack McGregor and Aydrae Amit is 5.5 seconds. My goodness, we're only 2 laps in.
Indeed, and it's quite surprising to think that the battle in between the guys from 5th all the way to 10th is not as intense as the guys in front, but yet somehow they managed to actually latch onto the back of themselves and increase the advantage. So maybe the slipstream is happening up for them, as Christopher Ware, who's running in 6th place there, gets a slow penalty as well in front of DeVito, who is one of the newcomers here. Quite a few Americans actually qualified the leaderboard in that top 30, but only one appeared out, and DeVito is just one of them, as Christopher Ware is now actually gotten more slow track penalties. Hey, this is actually quite a good race so far, at least. Top 4 close to each other, about a second. As meanwhile, P5, 6, and 7 and 8 as well are quite close, as Christopher Ware is actually attacking Aydrae Amit. This is going to be interesting how Aydrae can actually use his resolve here to defend the guys from behind.
Yep, and being Aydrae, I don't think Aydrae Amit has a lot of pressure in him. Christopher Ware, though, is pressuring Aydrae Amit, but he has to be cautious of Christopher Ware, because if he continues, putting all his 4 tires off the white line, he will get the slowdown penalty, and that will just compromise his attack for P5.
And you have to remember, if you have a warning towards the end of the lap and you cross the line, you can still get rid of it before the time runs out. You get about 30 seconds. But if that 30 seconds runs out, that's it. You're going to get a drive-through. We've seen already quite a few drivers this season alone getting penalties that wasted their opportunity to get better finishing positions, as Christopher Ware then ducking onto the inside, just like his teammate there, Duck Racing, tried to come through turn 14 and now up to 15 on the inside, but Aydrae holds his line. He went a bit wide there, but Ware's on the outside. There's going to be a drag race across the start-finish line there, Afiq.
Yep, it's going to be a drag race from the start-finish line, though. Aydrae Amit keeping his composure. Christopher Ware tries to find a way around the outside of turn 15. Not a place where I would overtake Ammo.
Yeah, well, if you are actually alongside... Oh, there's a spin! That's Reynaldo Julie spinning from the lead. What a wasted opportunity for him as well. He could have actually still held on to it, but luckily he's not lost too much time. He's spun into the infield and only lost a handful of seconds. He's still about 1.1 seconds behind the top 3. But what happened there, Afiq?
Probably just a spin or maybe a tap by John McGregor.
I think McGregor was that far behind. I think he might have actually engaged first gear by accident. That launched the differential into almost a neutral state and locked up the car. So that might have been the reason, but we are not sure exactly until at least we can ask him later on. But for now, at least, he's lost only about a second to the guys up in the top 3. So he does it again. He nearly loses it coming up to turn 8. He really needs to calm himself. Hey, Afiq.
Yeah, he does, and probably that first spin cocked up his heated up his rear tires, so he's not going to get any grip from the rear tires whatsoever. So maybe that's why he lost ground again coming to turn 8. Oh, look, Reynaldo Julie spins again at the back there. Look, he spins it again.
Oh, what's happening here? This lap has not been an absolute good one for Reynaldo Julie. He's having an absolute mare here, and he keeps doing it again through the slow corners. He's going to get caught by Aydrae and the rest of the field, who are aiming to get up to higher positions here.
Yeah, just if I may interject, guys, that seems to be part of Reynaldo Julie's MO, doesn't he? I mean, we've seen this from him in the past, where he's been quick, but then halfway through the race starts spinning and going down the grid. This is not the first time it's happened to the young Indonesian. So I wonder if it might be gear related, or he just does something that always results in halfway through the race he's having a lot of mistakes.
Or in Malay, we call it Gabra. He just had stage fright at that particular moment in time. It's just so disappointing to see, because he was leading so well up to that point, and then the previous lap is just thrown it all away, as we now see a battle between Aydrae, Thomas DeVito, Edward Condorloches, and Christopher Ware. Christopher Ware then goes onto the inside again and takes away the position from DeVito. I saw just now DeVito was actually ahead of this 3. Oh, he gets a bit of a touch from Condorloches. Somehow saves that, and they both collided again. They're not really afraid to show their elbows here, Alex.
No, it's pretty... Definitely got their elbows out. Condorloches is the loser in that, as he drops back quite a bit. Yeah, he just needs to calm down, and he'll find the pace, and he'll be back up with these 3.
Now it has calmed a bit, but look at the car right in front, that red and black car. That is actually Reynaldo Julie. So he's lost so much time from that previous lap that Aydrae Amit has actually closed up to the back of him. So Aydrae then aiming for the best finish of his young career so far in ERGP. He's had a points finish last time as well in P10 in Silverstone, so that's his first points of the season. But if he gets 4th here, that will actually better that 2 folds, but he has to defend against some of the other guys who are quite seasoned here, and Christopher Ware has been one of them who has been hounding the back of that car since the very beginning of the race there, Afiq.
Yeah, it does, but the gap between Aydrae Amit and Reynaldo Julie now is down to 2.46, but the thing about Aydrae Amit is that, look at that, there's 2 cars behind him. Thomas DeVito and Christopher Ware is elbowing each other out, and for P6 overall.
And the battle's still all over for that one. So top 3, they're at their own class right now, with 4th place being in no man's land for this particular moment, as the battle between 5th, 6th, 7 and 8 are still raging on. Meanwhile, up in front, Jack McGregor we're looking at in 3rd place, in front of Chris Chu. fellow Singaporean, and then further up in front, another Singaporean, which happens to also be his father. They're making way right now from the rest of the field, about 7 seconds ahead of Renato Juli. So, you might say, would there be any team tactics between father and son? And they are part of the same team as well.
Probably, but I doubt that will happen. Chris Chu, though, in a McGregor sandwich, John and Jack sandwiching him, and Chris Chu down there in P2. So Chris Chu has to find a way past John, though, if he needs to win.
Yep, and Chris Yu, of course, he has the permutations in his favor right now. If he wins this race, he will go into the final round pretty much looking in good shape because the drop point system is still applied. Keith Mo, on the other hand, though, despite missing this round due to sadly an illness, might still be able to contend in that final round, but depends on how well Chris Chu performs in this race, and then we can see his drop points later on. So all to play for then in coming to the final round of the season.
Yep, all to play for, as Thomas DeVito has passed Christopher Wire and now chasing down Aydrae Amit for P5. Thomas DeVito looks like a rocket compared to Aydrae Amit there. He's trying to find a way past to turn 9, no, backs off a bit. Will he dive down the inside of turn 10? Doesn't look like it, will he? Ooh. And he did. He barges his way through to turn to P5.
So Aydrae's resilience has been broken for that particular instance by Thomas DeVito, and the American who's actually making his debut here in ERGP fights it up to 5th place, but Aydrae's not going to give that up. He goes onto the inside, coming through turn 13. Oh, I'll tell you what, this kid can race actually. I never knew that he could race so well, and he defends quite well as well. But unfortunately now, he's sandwiched here between two drivers who just really want to get points off him. And Aydrae somehow still manages to be up in 6th place and gets a slowdown penalty for his troubles.
And if this battle rages on with 3 minutes to go, Adam Kodrolakis might have a chance to, snatch 5th place from Thomas DeVito, Aydrae Amit, and Christopher Wire, Emma.
Indeed, and Ware then looking behind him about half a second then between himself and Adam Kodrolakis as Aydrae ducks out of the slipstream, comes into turn 1, and that's a brilliant move. I think you said that moves cannot be done there, but having said that, look at that, Aydrae just lost out. So the move can be done, but the execution has to be right.
Yeah, it has to be right. Look at that, Thomas DeVito playing his cards right and doing the old switcheroo coming to turn 1 there. So he lost the position but gained back because Aydrae Amit runs a bit wide there.
Manu Satrio gets a slowdown penalty for going off the track, and yes, Aydrae then just a bit too hot coming to turn 1, but he tries it coming out of turn 5, and he actually touches the side of Thomas DeVito. Now that might be concerning for the rest of the guys. If they have penalty points that might be close to exceeding, they might have to back it up a bit here in the final 3 minutes.
Yep, they have to, and they can't get any penalty points whatsoever, otherwise their race is going to be over. Well, not necessarily over, but you will get penalty and you will move down the order.
And that's what they do not want. If they could at least be up within that top 15 place or top 14, depending on how randomized the order is for race 2, decided by the race officials before the start of race 2, they have to be at least within that top 15. Otherwise, that is going to compromise the entire weekend. As meanwhile, we look further behind with 2 minutes left to go. This is Shami Masindra, who had a brilliant first couple of races. He had a P7 in, P9 in the first round of the season in Sepang, and after that, he just kept scoring points until. Yeah, in fact, he's had 2 9th place finishes. Now he's in P12, so at least then it will be points for him. But that top 10 looks tantalizingly close, Afiq.
Yeah, it is, and the gap close, and the gap between the top 10 and the guy in P12 is actually 0.3 of a second. Look at that, Shami Masindra tries to find a way around the inside of Mike Lee there, but backs off. Meanwhile, Christopher Wire down the inside of Aydrae Amit, backs off there. So Thomas DeVito is pulling away from Aydrae Amit with a 1 second gap there, Emo.
Indeed, and well, I think DeVito made his move just about right, because now Aydrae is going to be the cork and bottle again, holding up the rest of the field here. Take nothing away from him, it's still going to be a good finish for the kid. P6, his best finish so far ever in ERGP, but he had to fight for it for all his worth to actually get those points. As further up in front, John McGregor then serenely up in front. He is almost a second ahead of Chris Chu, while Jack McGregor only about 0.7 of a second behind Chris Chu. It looks as though I think the top 3 is quite settled, I think.
Yeah, it's quite settled unless Chris Chu makes a mistake and Jack McGregor capitalizes on it. However, though, John McGregor, 44 seconds remaining. I think there will be one more lap, Emma.
Indeed, there will be, because by the time they cross the line, they would have at least about 15 seconds left on the clock, because they're in the final sector now. So it is one more lap to go, and hopefully they have enough fuel. We've had cases of leaders running out of fuel on the last lap of the race. Remember, take your mind back to last year in Hungaroring, where Hayden Miller and his father Grant, they were in the top 3 positions with Hayden leading until he ran out of fuel on the very last lap because he just miscalculated it. So if they got that calculation just about right, they could at least safely negotiate this final lap. As we look at Chris Tune inset there, that very interesting camera angle. It looks as though we're underneath a toaster. I think it looks like a toaster underneath there.
Yep, 1 lap remaining. There you go. Let's go back to the battle between Christopher Wire and Aydrae Amit. Oh, look at that. Round the outside, Christopher Wire goes. Aydrae Amit dives on around the outside. The defense is position for Aydrae Amit, though, Emo.
He just chops across his nose there, and I think Christopher Ware may not be happy with that one, but he's got the run on Aydrae coming to turn 1. Now, will there be an overtaking maneuver in turn 1 completed? Oh, Aydrae hangs it around the outside. That's brave. That had to have full trust with the other guy to actually make that maneuver done. And Aydrae, to his credit, has actually defended that position quite well, while Ware, he gave the position up just a bit easily. He could have actually forced the issue, but he kept it safe so that they will both be still in the race. As meanwhile, up in front, McGregor then coming to the final sector, looking very good.
Yeah, looking very good indeed. Look at that. Coming to turn 8 and has a 0.6 of a second gap to Chris Chu. Chris Chu, the gap last lap was a 1 second gap. Now it's down to 7/10. He can get close, but I think it's a little too late, Amo.
Yeah, too little too late for Christian to make any inroads to the leader, because we're coming out to the final sector now. No overtaking maneuvers as per yet. He could dive one onto the inside here, but unfortunately, he's way too far behind. So Chris, being the thinking man that he is, he will try not to do anything silly, because he's got 20 valuable points here for second place. That adds up to his championship. So he's thinking about the end game here, not about the immediate gains. As he comes out now to the final corner, then John McGregor out through turn 14 and now 15. This will be an invaluable victory. This will be the second victory of the season for John. In fact, first victory of the season. He hasn't had a win yet this season. So McGregor then, with a well-deserved win, up across the crest, onto the start-finish line now. And he will take victory here in race 1 for the copper class. Well done there to John McGregor. Second place will be Christian. Third will be Jack McGregor. Now it's going to be in that final few positions on the top 10. It looks as though I think Aydrae might have held off Christopher Ware for 6th place. What a brilliant finish for the young kid. 8 years old, and he's already gotten his best finish of the season in ERGP. And across the line, the rest of the field, Julie with a disappointing 4th place, I would say, because he led at one point. 5th is Thomas DeVito, 6th Aydrae, 7th is Christopher Ware, 8th Adnan Kodrilocious, 9th is Al Qadri, and 10th is Ashraf Nasruddin. So that's your top 10 for this race. And Alex, over to you then if we have any interviews.
All right, so we got John McGregor on the phone. How are you, mate? Interesting camera angle. How was that?
Okay. Yeah, that was interesting race. Myself and Chris got a little bit of time at the start there, but all came good in the end, I suppose.
Yep. Yeah, no, it was good. No, first race in Global Edition 8, so that would be a bit better for the championship as well. You close the gap to Chris.
Yeah, I didn't have a very good last round, so
yeah,
it's good to be competing near the front.
Okay, well, congratulations on that. I'll let you get ready for race 2. It's top 15 reversed, so you definitely got your work cut out for race 2.
Okay, cheers. Bye for now.
So there's the championship positions.
Sorry, that's the race leaderboard just now. So John McGregor wins race 1 of the copper class, followed up by Chris Chu and